All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, everybody? We are back talking some fights. 1 week off. Now we're back with the Fight Night card. But, man, I think this is one of the better Fight Night cards you can draw up real life and DFS. 14 fights, Houston, Texas. Live crowd. I actually went to a fight in Houston a couple years back. Was a lot of fun. It was Whitaker Adesanya. That fight itself was all right. It was Whitaker Adesanya 2. Derek Lewis was on the card. I don't know. Was fortunate enough to be in a suite, so a lot of booze was going. Usually don't remember the fights as much when I'm in a suite versus down below. Drinks flow a little more, a lot cheaper, aka free. But yeah, I'm really pumped for this. 14 fights, 10 of the 14 are expected to finish. I think we see some high scores, loaded mid-tier, fluffy Anthony Hernandez in the main event, one of the best DFS guys around. Co-main Jeff Neal, Uros Medic. I mean, there's bangers on this card. I'm super pumped. 5 p.m. Eastern, bringing you in, Big Marley. How was your week off, and what do you think of this card?
Yeah, it's good. Probably earlier I didn't really need a refresher yet, but it was nice, I guess, hang out with the family a little bit more. I got some rooms painted in the house, but I'm ready for some fights already, and we got a really high-paced main event, so I'm looking forward to this one. You said 10 of them expected to end inside the distance, and one of those 4 that are not is the main event, which you almost have to be all in on as well. So, yeah, I'm expecting some high scores this week.
Yeah, no, that's the broad slate overview for me. 10 of the 14 expected to finish. One of them's the main event that's not, and that's a phenomenal fight, which leaves us with 3 fights that aren't supposed to finish. And
Did I lose you? You're frozen. We lost.
I'm back now, but that's not good. That's not good. That hasn't happened yet. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is my second show back. All right. Fingers crossed everything's good. Sorry, Big Marley. I scared myself. I know I scared you. So fingers crossed everything's good. I mean, the router's right in my room, so I don't know what's going on. We're back.
You weren't lagging at all. It just stopped. And it looks like it stopped again. So hopefully we're okay.
Oh, fuck.
You're good. You're good. Let's get into it.
All right. So, yeah, that's my broad slate. 10 of the 14 not supposed to finish. The one of them is the main event. That's a really good fight. So I think you're going to need probably 100 plus with almost all of your spots, or at least close to it. Mid-tier's loaded. I think even in the 7Ks, you should be hunting with dogs that have upside, because I do think some are barking. A lot of close odds on this fight and a lot of big expected inside the distance props. I'm scared about my Wi-Fi now. Any broad slate for you, or should we go fight by fight right away?
Yeah, I'm ready to rock. Let's get it.
All right, I do. First of all, I do want to say, and I'm going to remind people at the end if people come in later, but shout out to Lazy Lopez in the Discord. Hit us up. Wanted to gift 2 monthly core packages, so you do get access to the Discord and Saber Sim with that. $99 in value. He bought those and wants to pay it forward to 2 people. Always in the Discord. He drops his FanDuel projections sometimes in there as well. Just really, really generous stuff from Lopez. He wanted to stay anonymous. Me and Big Marley's DMs are closed, so he had to put it out there in the public. I want to give him a shout out, though. That is very, very nice of him. So 2 people by the end of the show will have a monthly access. And you can also get in as low as $9 for the day or 5 days for $19. Join the nation. All you got to go is above shippination.com, join the nation, and then you'll see daily pass, 5-day pass. There's monthly, all access. But if you want to give us a try and you haven't already, I think the 5 days for $19 is best. Gets the Discord, gets Saber Sim. We got some NBA going on right now, NHL going, PGA going on, Showdown stuff, of course, MMA and NASCAR. I don't know if I already said NASCAR. I don't think I did. But, yeah, big prizes, a lot of money to be made. We got you covered in all those sports and the best community around. So we will give those away a little later. We'll come up with something, do something so it's random and fair for everyone. All right, first fight of the night, the biggest favorite, highest price fighter on the slate, Carli Judice, -800, taking on Juliana Miller, +550. minus 200 for this fight to finish. Judice minus 185 inside the distance. Miller plus 1,000. Judice opened minus 350. Took tons of money, now minus 800. She opened minus 165 inside the distance, now minus 185. And I don't think ownership's going to really get there. So, yeah, what's your take on this fight, Judice and Miller?
I mean, it's tough for DFS just because of that $9,700 price tag, but I do expect Judice to just have a big edge on the feet. She's going to triple up Miller in the strikes, and she could land enough strikes to put Miller out really in any round. So Miller, on the other hand, is going to have to wrestle in this fight. She's going to have to land takedowns and keep top control time. And if she wins, I expect her to score well over a 10x score, possibly over like 80, but minus 800 for Judice doesn't give me a whole lot of hope on the Miller side. So I really don't want to play her, but I'm also not against it if you're trying to hit that solo 100K, because I think the line is a little bit wide on this one. I don't know that we should give Judice this much credit, but she's going to have she should look like a minus 700 if it stays on the feet anyways. And she's very high paced. She's coming off of 2 TKO wins. So she can definitely put up a score that can compete even with that $9,700 salary. But if she gets taken down in the first round and grinded out for like 3 or 4 minutes, is it over for her at that point? I mean, I think it might be. So I'm not going to be too high on Judice either. I have a hard time thinking I'm going to be able to afford a whole lot of 9,700, but I think we can drop down to the people below her and get just as good, if not better, of a score. So I'm picking Judice to win, but probably mostly a pass for me on the DFS side.
First, before I get into my breakdown, shout out YSN, shout out G Pfeiffer. I'm lacking. You guys always in here saying hi. I always try and say hi to the people watching live. I know many watch playback. We appreciate everyone. Ultra in here as well. Cheers to you. Happy to see a lot of people back. I have a little different take, I guess. I'm definitely going to be playing some Carli Judice. I think she's going to be 20%, 18%, 17%, something like that. And if you see on the stone, this is a 3-fight sample, 1 Dana White Contender Series, 2 UFC fights, 10.73 significant strikes per minute. Juliana Miller is very hittable. I'm expecting a high-paced fight. And now Judice is minus 185 to finish with that 10.73 significant strikes per minute. In her UFC win, she scored 102.5, 107.3. By no means is that guaranteed to be optimal, but at 18%, if I'm getting 107 to start the card, I like it. And part of the reason why I'm interested in Judice is I think this is a card where a lot of dogs will be barking because a lot of closely lined fights, and I think there's a lot of upside in the lower tier, and then there's a ton of upside in the mid tier. Pereira Reese, minus 325 to finish. Leal Chidi, minus 600 to finish. Ode Oosbourne, Idiris, minus 125 to finish. I thought we had one more. Yeah, Brahimaj Soriano, minus 205 to finish. All those mid-tier fights expected to finish. You can go fluffy, Judice, and then go lower tier, mid-tier. And I do think that is a path on this slate. So I'm definitely going to play Judice. I will not play any Juliana Miller. If she beats me, she beats me. I think there's plenty of live dogs on this card. If she wins, it's through wrestling, so she has upside. But I usually don't take dogs that are minus 350 to now minus 800. That's a lot of steam going against. Judice, I think, picks her apart, eventually gets a KO. I think there's a 100-plus point upside in this fight for Judice, and I will take that at relatively low ownership since the mid-tier is strong and the dogs are strong. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to play some Judice to start it off. And a contrarian minus 800 with the next biggest favorite on the card minus 400 is a little appealing to me. All right, we'll keep it rolling to the second biggest favorite on the card, Yadier. How do you say his name again? I know I butchered it last name.
Oh, dude, I have no idea. I was going to say what you said. I was going to say Del Valle or something.
Yeah, Yadier de Valle. Sounds right. He was in the, let me say this, taking on Jordan Leavitt. Yadier minus 400, Leavitt plus 300, minus 250 for this fight to finish. Yadier minus 170 inside the distance, Leavitt plus 550. So many will probably remember Yadier was fighting Isaac Dalgarian last fight, and this is when the line just got absolutely steamed like an hour before the fight, 30 minutes before. And then, I mean, it looked like Dalgarian threw the fight essentially. Who knows? Dalgarian has since been released. They're definitely looking into stuff. It looked really, really fishy. People were breaking it down like when Yadier took his back, like he was going the wrong way. He was going into the choke. Just absolutely dog walked him. I mean, he looked phenomenal, but did Dulgarian throw the fight, or was Yadier just on another level? I'm kind of leaning Dulgarian might have threw that fight with all the money that came in. It seems suspicious. With that being said, I think both can be true. Dulgarian could have thrown the fight, and Yadier could still be that dude. Looked really, really good on the mat. Also is taking on a primary grappler, though, in Jordan Leavitt. So curious to see how this one goes, how you think. Does Yadier keep it on the feet because Leavitt's cheeks there? Or does Yadier just show those levels on the mat and dominates them? So what do you see in this one?
I just think Del Valle is just way better than Leavitt. I think he's better everywhere. And I do think that both things are true in that last fight. I actually picked Del Valle to beat Dulgarian before all that shit happened. But I think Dulgarian threw that fight. But in this one, I would pick Dulgarian over Leavitt all day, to be honest with you. So I just think it's a different level on the grappling. I do think it's going to end up on the ground. Leavitt is going to have to grapple himself. That's really all he's got. And he's decent. If he could get top control, maybe Leavitt could have some success here. But I just think that Del Valle is just going to be better everywhere. He's going to be the one dictating where the fight takes place. If it's standing, I think he dominates him. And I think he's going to be the one that's better and more dangerous on the ground. So give me Del Valle. I don't know how much I want him in DFS, but I know I don't want Leavitt. So it's going to be Del Valle or pass. It's how much can I afford, then I'm cool with it. I'm also cool with if I have 300, just taking him instead of Judice. But with Judice being low owned, I don't even know that we need to do that. So I'm also fine if I have $300 in a Del Valle lineup, just duplicate it, throw in Judice. Maybe the opposite of what we usually talk about. But yeah, give me Del Valle to probably dominate.
Yeah, no, I don't mind. Like, I think Judice and Yadier, at the end of the day, I wouldn't be surprised if either was on the optimal. Yadier has a lot of grappling, wrestling upside. Both are heavily favored to finish the fight. And I don't think Yadier is going to be too highly owned either. With Fluffy Hernandez, he's just going to be so popular at 9,100. Then I think, yeah, maybe some go Yadier, Fluffy, a little go Judice, Fluffy, Smith, Fluffy. But yeah, if you're playing Sean Strickland, then it's a lot easier to play Yadier. But again, I'm totally good. There's enough money on the card. 9,400 Yadier, 9,100 Fluffy. Figure out the rest. Just like I said about Judice, I am fine leaving the 300 too from Judice down to Yadier. I don't know about Leavitt, man. He, like, you can see minus 380 on Monday. Now it's minus 400. If he wins, like, you think it's to the ground, hey, like reversals, top control. Like, I mean, Leavitt ain't outstriking nobody. I mean, all he does is throw kicks. So if he does win, I mean, I think he has to score. It might be reversals, top control, maybe Yadier gasses, and he's going to be super low owned. So I hate the lower tier, like low tier. I'm debating getting a little, at least keeping him in my pool, just because, I mean, his path, I think, is on the mat.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just not a Leavitt guy at all. I'd rather take my chances on Miller and get less dupes, to be honest with you. And the line moved more than that. I got Del Valle at minus 325 on Sunday. So almost moved $1 since then. Yeah.
So, yeah, I put these up. So Yadier opened minus 600, February 6th. An hour later, not even 30 minutes later, was down to minus 310. And then some money came in on Yadier. Then it went back to the Leavitt side. He got all the way down to minus 265 last week. And then he's taken money since. So good amount of line movement on it. Minus 600. And then it went down. And then he has taken some money recently. So, yeah, by no means, there's a lot of good dogs on this card, in my opinion. Leavitt, Miller aren't ones I'm getting to too much. But if I got a little Leavitt, I think I'd be fine, just because if he wins, I think it does come on the mat, since, again, he has no hands whatsoever. We'll keep it rolling. Next fight on the card, Jean Paul, minus 205, making his UFC debut against Phil Rowe, plus 175. Minus 170 for this fight to finish. Jean Paul, plus 135 inside the distance. Rowe, plus 255. Yeah, take it away. I see you have a 3-star, and it makes sense, but the fight's still minus 170 to finish. Will be relatively low owned. What do you see?
So, yeah, I mean, I could be wrong on this one, but this Lebosnoyani guy, he, in my opinion, I think he started out as like a jiu-jitsu guy, primarily grappler.
Yeah.
And then he started striking more, I think he got a knockout, and then he's coming off a head kick knockout on Dana White's Contender Series. So this guy's not going to be looking to grapple anymore. He's going to be falling in love with his striking. And I think we might get a striking match here. And that's what makes me not like it, especially him at $8,800. Because I don't know that he's going to knock out Phil Rowe. Phil Rowe's pretty dangerous, and he's good at range. I think Phil Rowe could win this fight if it's a striking fight, especially at range. I would want Lebosnoyani to go out there and wrestle if I'm paying $8,800, or get a finish would be fine as well. But I don't know. I feel like this one could go the distance. Phil Rowe's never won a decision, so you kind of got to lean Lebosnoyani if that's the case. So I put it as a 3-3 because I'm not as confident as the line is. This guy coming in on his debut, he's going to be nervous out there, and I just think that it should be a little bit closer to a pick 'em line. So my preferred play by the end of the day, I mean, when it's all said and done, could end up being Rowe in this one. I might switch it to 4 stars Rowe, 2 stars Lebosnoyani. I'll see what happens when I start building my lineup and who I end up with more of. But I think I'm just closer to like a 2 or a 3 star than I am a 4 or 5 on this one, because I don't think it's going to end up finishing. Give me Lebosnoyani to just be the higher pace striker, maybe mix in a takedown or 2 and win a decision, just not score too high.
I'm indifferent to this fight too, in the sense of, like, again, I think we need 100 plus, like probably at 8,800. We need big scores up top, but ownership's going to be relatively low owned on both guys. It's going to get owned, but not too much on this 14 fight card. And man, I know I'm playing Phil Rowe, and Phil Rowe is my preferred side. Like you said, all 11 of his wins have been by finish. He's 4-4 in the UFC. Like, was both Gene Paul is making his UFC debut. I do think, if I'm wrong, if he doesn't wrestle, there's no way Gene Paul gets there. But I do think, like, if he has nerves, he feels Phil Rowe's power to start. He's like, oh shit, I'm gonna panic wrestle. I'm gonna chain wrestle. And Phil Rowe has 50% takedown defense. So if he does wrestle, more of his wins have been by submission than KO. The books see it right now, plus 250 to win by sub, plus 400 to win by KO for Gene Paul. So if he does get a submission, we're showing like 22%, 23%, 8,800. He'll be relatively low owned. By no means do I want to play fluffy, take fluffy out and go Gene Paul, but you can go fluffy Gene Paul and then leave a couple hundred pretty easy. I do think he might wrestle. Plus 250 by subs, good. This fight's minus 170 to finish. Ownership's relatively in check. Yeah, I mean, this card's just so good. On most cards, like for me, this would be like a 4 star. On this card, because he's competing with what I think to be so many high scores, I am a little more scared with it. And that's why Phil Rowe's my preferred play, because if he does win, it's more than likely by finish. I mean, he's low volume. He doesn't wrestle. It's hard to see him winning a decision in this one because of his output. But yeah, Phil Rowe has good cardio. He's a dog. He has power. Who knows what Gene Paul is making his UFC debut. So Phil Rowe is my preferred side for the 1,400 savings. Plus 255 inside the distance is definitely good for him. But I am going to play some Gene Paul myself at relatively low ownership and hope he does wrestle for a fight that's minus 170 to finish. One note, this fight opened minus 250. Gene Paul, now it's minus 205. So money has came in on the Phil Rowe side. Before we go to the next fight, I just want to remind a couple people, more people joined. We will be, toward the end, giving away 2 monthly memberships, includes SaberSim, includes access to the Discord on our man Lazy Lopez in the Discord. So shout out to him, paying it forward. 2 people in chat right now will get Shipping Nation core members. Again, SaberSim, it comes with it. Discord, it comes with it. Access to all of our sports up above. You can see right now. PGA is going on, NBA is going on, MMA, of course, NASCAR, NHL will be back pretty soon. So awesome stuff from our man Lazy Lopez, and we appreciate the like button and subscribe button. It helps us out a ton. Next fight, pretty much a pick-up. Minus 115, Ramiz Brahimaj. Minus 105, Punahele Soriano. Minus 220 for this fight to finish. Brahimaj minus 110 inside the distance. Soriano plus 315. You can see on Monday when I put up the odds, Brahimaj was minus 130. Now it's minus 115. With that being said, on February 6th, when the line opened, Brahimaj was Soriano was minus 171. Brahimaj was plus 146. So Soriano opens a good size favorite. Brahimaj then takes a lot of money to minus 130. Now we see some buyback on the Soriano side. Also worth noting, this fight opened minus 190 to finish. Now it is minus 220. So money coming in on Brahimaj to start, Soriano buyback, money coming in on the under, a mid-tier fight. And yeah, I see you have more stars on Soriano than Brahimaj. How do you see it? Mute. You're on mute.
My bad. My dogs were barking. Yeah, I like this fight definitely in DFS, but I'm going to be on the Soriano side. I think both sides make a lot of sense. Brahimaj is a good and dangerous and aggressive grappler. When he wants to be, he can go out there, look for a takedown fast, and just kind of dominate. He's also had a couple of knockouts lately too. But this is the same guy that came in plus 155 against Mickey Gall. So I think that the line is getting a little out of hand at this point. I think Soriano should be the favorite. He's had some bad moments in the UFC, and I still think that's kind of playing into it. But he's on a 3-fight win streak himself. And in DFS, when this guy wins, man, he's got, dang, I don't have it open. Let's see here. He's got 118, 130, 169, 123, and 127. And we're getting this guy at an underdog price. And Brahimaj is the type of guy who, if things aren't going well, he's kind of okay just accepting being on his back. He's not a dangerous grappler like a Charles Oliveira, where he's going to be throwing up triangles that you got to worry about. It's when he is the aggressor that he's dangerous. And if Soriano is the wrestler in this one, I think Brahimaj could be on his back for 12 minutes in this fight. I also think Soriano is the more dangerous striker in this one, probably the better overall striker. So I think the wrong guy's favored in this one. Soriano is probably going to be my second highest owned play on the card, I would think.
Damn. All right. I lean Brahimaj more than Soriano, and the reason I did was because I think he has more upside. Like the inside the distance, seeing minus 110 for Brahimaj inside the distance and plus 315 for Soriano scared me a little bit. Like, all right, how much do you think? Like Brahimaj is nasty. Like he is a good submission guy. If he's on top or he grabs the neck, he does have power as a Soriano as well. Like I just like Soriano, you see 1.83 takedowns per 15. He wrestled. He has a wrestling background, but man, the cardio on him, like I don't think he can really sustain wrestling for 15 minutes. If it's on the feet, like you think he's knocking him out in the first or second round, or you do think he puts on the wrestling shoes and he's not worried about Brahimaj's submission game?
I definitely think he could knock him out, but the way I'm picking the fight to go down is Soriano wrestles, wins 2 or 3 rounds on the cards. And I also think if he slows down, Brahimaj's not really the type of guy who's going to step it up in the 3rd round. I think it would take one more takedown, and then you get a hangout in top control till the fight's over.
I think Brahimaj is higher owned, and I was going to say by a decent bit. It really, I think, depends on where this line goes by Saturday. But I think people will look at that minus 110 inside the distance, the plus 315 for Soriano. Brahimaj on a 3-fight winning streak. He was an underdog in all 3. Let me get the odds. Like you said, the Mickey Gall fight, he was plus 155. Obviously, that Gall's not great. He was plus 320 against Billy Goff and plus 240 against Austin Vanderford. Those are pretty solid wins. Vanderford, also a wrestler himself, caught him, snatched his neck. I just think Brahimaj is dangerous, and he's coming into his own a little bit. So we're going to differ on this fight, but because I do think Soriano's less owned than Brahimaj, and I think the mid-tier is so loaded. By no means is Brahimaj going to be chalk, but I do think he'll be relatively high owned, and you can get some leverage on the Soriano side. With your appeal on him in fluffy lineups and chalkier stuff, maybe I'll get a little more Soriano than I initially did and tail you a little bit, but I still like Brahimaj more. But I do think he is higher owned at the end of the day. I definitely will be keeping a close eye on where this line goes because it's been moving around quite a bit.
It looks like Pick'em right now.
Yeah, okay, DraftKings minus 110 a piece, minus 1.
Minus 115, minus 105, but
yeah, same
I
thing.
feel like Soriano is going to be the favorite going into it.
Yeah, if it does get to like minus 130 plus 110, it really come down to ownership for me. Like I still think Brahimaj has more first round upside. Let's see the first round props.
Well, if Soriano, let's say is minus 130, I'm going to move ownership to like 30 something percent Soriano, and I'll bump down Brahimaj.
I still don't know if you would really get there, maybe, but like the mid tier, like we talked about, Pereira Reese, people are going to go to this fight before that fight. not the Oosbourne Idiris fight, probably Leal Chidi. Like this fight and Pereira Reese, like these two right here are going to take up more than mid-tier ownership. So even if Soriano's a favorite at 7,900, I think it's going to stay in the 20s. If Brahimaj closes minus 135, like I could see Soriano being like 19% or something like that, and Brahimaj being like 28%. The round one prop
have like 50%. Soriano.
yeah. I mean, if he's optimal, you'll definitely have a good shot to win some cheese. Brahimaj round one plus 240, Soriano plus 600. Brahimaj definitely has the finishing upside according to the books. He's done it as of late. I'm a
Brahimaj guy. I like Brahimaj. I usually pick him. I've liked him since he came into the UFC. So I'm not like biased in this one. I just think personally Soriano should be like minus 155.
You have good reads on these. I'm not a Brahimaj guy because he costed me a lot of stacks against Court McGee back in the day. I had way too much money.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, way too much money on him. So, yeah, I zero bias in this fight. I'm hunting for upside. I think that's the main thing. But you did make a good point. When Soriano wins, he does show he can get upside. We'll see. We'll see in that one. It's good to differ. Again, I might have a little more Soriano than I initially did after talking to you. Let's keep it rolling to the most likely fight to go the distance on the card. Joselyne Edwards taking on Nora Cornolle. A rematch. Edwards minus 315. Cornolle plus 265. Plus 190 for this fight to finish. Edwards plus 250 inside the distance. Cornolle plus 600. So this is a rematch from 2023. And in my opinion, one of the bigger robberies that nobody talks about. It was in enemy territory in France. How Cornolle won that fight is beyond me. Joselyne Edwards landed, let me get this right, 5 of 8 takedowns for 9 minutes of control, got a takedown in every round, and lost the fight. Absolutely no clue how. But man, Joselyne's looked like a different beast as of late, finishing her last 3 fights, 2 first-round KOs and a third-round submission, and scored 110, 109, and 119 in those fights. If she did win the Cornolle fight, it would have been 89 points. But I'm going to play some Joselyne. She's going to be super low owned because it's the most likely fight to go the distance. She's 9,200. Fluffy's 100 less. Plenty of good upper tier fights. But man, like Joselyne opened plus 300 to finish. Now plus 250. Joselyne finished her last 3 fights. I do think she's probably a little pissed about that last robbery. Now she's in the States in Houston. Judges still suck. But I just think she's better. She's looked really good. Her striking, I think she can mix in wrestling like she did last fight. I think she's a woman on a mission and does have a little bad blood from that loss. If Joselyne wins and scores 106 or 105, I mean, she might be 14% or something like that. And that's like instead of playing a Juliana Miller, even like a Jordan Leavitt, I'd be more inclined to play a Joselyne Edwards. Can still play fluffy, can go mid-tier and something like that. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to play some Joselyne. I'm not going to play Nora Cornolle. Even if she wins, I don't know, 70 points. Like I just don't really see it. There's enough live dogs on this card with upside for me. So what do you see?
Yeah, I think Edwards going to be better everywhere. I don't love the $9,200 price tag, though, so that's why I have it as a 1 star. I mean, she didn't come into the UFC as a very good fighter, in my opinion, but she's grown a ton. I feel like she started growing her ass, and her ass grew her confidence, and her confidence grew her skills, man. Because it kind of grew at the same time. You know? That's just
what about her? What about her training with Valentina? You don't think that had anything to do with it?
Maybe a little something, I guess.
You rehearsed that in the mirror.
Maybe they correlate. I don't know, but I just think even if it was a striking match, give me Edwards to be the better striker, the more dangerous striker. But she has wrestling now too, so I'm pretty high on Edwards at this point. I think she could make a run at this point, and if she's going to be like 10%, I'm not against getting a little bit of Edwards. And if I do end up playing Edwards, I'll move it up to a 2-star fight ranking. If I have a 1-star, it's a full fade for me. I'm not going to use either side. And if I was making 150, it's usually that case for me as well on a 1-star. I'm pretty rare with those, but this is one I'm just not going to be using. I'm going to pick Edwards to win, and I think she's going to score around 90 points, and that's probably not going to cut it on this card.
Yeah, and I agree. 90 won't cut it. I don't think so. I'd be very shocked if 90 from Joselyne got it done. But I think she has 100+ point upside like she has the last 3 fights. So I will be getting some. Our man Sites, first of all, shout out Mike Spencer. Big Driggs. Hope you guys are doing well. Sites says, thanks for the analysis. A strategy question. Seems like the last 2 to 3 slates were more perspective than this one. I don't know if he meant predictive, but how much leverage on underdogs do you recommend for differentiation? I don't think like the leverage on like certain fighters is what gets you different. I think each individual lineup needs to tell its own story. So in each lineup, we have 14 fights. If we keep all 14, ownership's going to be way more spread out. There's more combinations than a 12-fight card like we're used to. So you don't have to get as crazy by any means. One spot, a Joselyne Edwards, all chalk, that got you different. You leave 300, that gets you different. So assuming we keep 14, that's a lot of fights, more combinations, more spread out ownership. I wouldn't worry about that as much, but each individual lineup should kind of tell a story. If you have $0 left and you're playing Chidi and Leal fight, Pereira Reese fight, Fluffy Hernandez, Brahimaj, okay, then you're getting a little too chalky, but definitely look at our ownership on the site. Saber Sim can help out with that as well. And then like leverage to each underdog. The more I've played MMA, this sport is so high variance. Not only like if your fighters lose, you're pretty much drawing dead. They can win and the judges can screw you. It can be a nut shot and the guy can quit. Like there's just so many variables in the thing. I don't try and now take like major stands on stuff personally. So if I have like 20% overweight to someone than the field, sometimes I manually bump that down to like 15 or 14. I kind of want my individual lineups to be good. And then I diversify more that way because I mean, so many like MMA is a dupe sport. Essentially, if you're not taking first, you're almost losing money if you're max entering or you're not making much. Cause last week darts, he won with 5 people, 25K. Second place might've been like $1,000 because they're splitting the top 5 prizes in such a top heavy tournament. If Oliveira won that fight, I would have won with 8 people, 16,000. And then the next highest would have been like $700. So you're only playing for one lineup essentially to get first. So I like spreading it out a little more. And I hope that answers your question. Do you have any thoughts on that before we get to the next fight?
No, I kind of just look at it as like I want to be overweight to these fighters, and I don't care how much it is. Like if I finish my lineups and I'm underweight to somebody I want to be overweight on, then I'll change it. But if I'm 35% over the field this week on Soriano, I'm gonna rock with that. So I'm cool with those big those big leverage spots, I guess. But it can burn you. I mean, you got to be ready to be burned in those situations. But it's also like that feeling of it hitting it's just so much better going into the rest of the card when you're like, oh shit, we're live now. Now what do we need? And I feel like that's gonna be my Soriano spot. I had one. I feel like I had one on the last card or recently where I only had a couple lineups, but I had someone early that smashed right away, and I was like, oh, we're sitting pretty here. And I mean, I didn't win too big. I don't remember how it ended up for me, but it could work and still not work out for you. But at the same time, if you're making limited lineups, it helps at least, min cash. You can at least profit. Whether 150, you need to win. Yeah, but if you're playing 5 lineups, you might cash 3 of them, and if you win $30, maybe you're happy with your night. So I do think it also helps in those situations.
Yeah, and everyone's different. Like I kind of knew Big Marley's answer. If you go, Big Marley and I talked last year more education, MMA, talked for an hour and a half, answered questions, went through a lot of stuff. And yeah, this is a spot where we differ. He's fine making big stands, sometimes full fading, locking. I've definitely gotten more conservative as I followed some pros like Sheets, like Rio, stuff like that, where I think I have been too tight in the past and let my I know fights take over where, yeah, I mean, I kind of just need to trust the Vegas odds. And when you win, how much do you win is kind of the way I'm trying to play MMA more. So hope that helps. Just find what works for you. There's no right or wrong answer in that. We'll keep it rolling. Next fight on the card. We have Alden Coria taking on Luis Gurule, -400. Coria +300, Luis +115 for this fight to finish. Coria +160 inside the distance. Luis +565. Take it away.
It's going to be just Coria for me. I think he is better everywhere. I think this is going to be a striking match, but Gurule just has not been impressive to me. I just don't think he's high enough volume. He's got power, but he hasn't been knocking anybody out. And I think this Coria guy is going to be hard to hit. He kind of reminds me of like a Yusuf Salal with a little Josh Van too. He's good on his feet. He's quick with his striking, and I think he can make some noise in the UFC. But at 9K in a striking match, and it's plus 105 to end inside the distance, I'm just not really too interested in it. My way is going to be Coria or pass, but the pass is where I'm really going to be leaning in this one. I would only end up with a Coria, I would bet, if I'm building my lineup. I already got Hernandez in there. I'm getting other mid-range people, and then I can't get up to people above him. And that's where I end up at is 9K. I'm fine with something like that, but ultimately I'm trying to fade this fight.
Yeah, you said Coria kind of like Josh Van. Training partners with Joshua Van is Coria. He's only 27 years old. Coria can wrestle a little bit, though. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes in a takedown or two. I agree with you. I just think he's better everywhere. He's going to be pretty low owned, right next to Fluffy in that range. I'm good playing some Coria. Open plus 185 to finish, now plus 160. If you're Josh Van's partner, that means you know to throw volume. You know you have cardio, and he has a little wrestling upside. I think he is a little interesting, but yeah, gun to my head, probably not optimal. But again, that's kind of like in chalk your lineups. I like getting more different in the upper tier this week than I do the lower tier because I think it is clear which underdogs do have upside.
And I will say I might have a little bit of recency bias with that Coria prediction. I mean, because I don't know that I would have said that I was that high on him going into that UFC debut, but I think that UFC debut spoke a lot.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, we're going to do 31 people. We're going to do 2 more fights, and then I'm going to say like a combination of 5 fights. I'm going to say like 7 through 11, or yeah, you know what? We're going to do 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm thinking of one fighter, and Big Marley is going to private chat me one of those fighters, completely random. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have a name. Big Marley has a name. First one to comment, only 1 comment. If you say 2, you're excluded. But whoever gets the ones right, you guys are the ones that win a monthly membership on Lazy Lopez. And then we're going to get you the details to get in the Discord, get over to shippingnation.com. So in 2 fights, we're going to talk about actually 2 fights. We're going to talk about the Idiris fight. We're going to talk about the Leal fight. And then Big Marley's going to have a name. I have a name. You guys get 1 guess. Not yet. What are you guys doing? Not yet. Not yet. Come on. You got to listen. You got to listen. So none of those count. And 2 fights, we will find out who wins. So none of y'all trolling. Come on, man. You guys got to listen. I should ban you for that, but I won't. All right. Next fight on the card. We got Alibi Idiris taking on Ode Oosbourne. Another mid-tier fight expected to finish. Idiris minus 130. Ode plus 110. Minus 135 for this fight to finish. Idiris plus 175 inside the distance. Ode plus 265. Take it away. What do you see?
Another fight I'm just not too high on. I don't have a real lean on this one either way. I do think it's going to be a close fight. And I could end up with Ode as my preferred side. I think he has a decent ceiling. He comes out of the gates pretty hot. He's dangerous in round 1. I think he could finish in the first round and just be a lock on the optimal lineup. But after the first round, I kind of think it shifts over to the Idiris side. I think he will be the better wrestler as the fight moves along. And it's just not going to be that high of a striking-paced fight, especially after the first round. So if I'm correct, I think Ode wins the first round. Idiris wins the second and the third, and we're not going to get a big score from either side. So that's what I'm hoping happens. I'm going to try to fade the fight. But if I'm MMEing and I end up with either side of this fight, I am okay with it. I'm not going to X out that lineup just because this fight's in it. If that were the case, I would go and make this a 1-star. If I end up with none of this in MME, I'll 1-star this one. But I do think I'm much more interested in this fight in general than I am like the Edwards fight because it's mid-range and both sides do have some upside. I think that the Idiris side, we just haven't. I think the UFC debut didn't really show what he's capable of. And then the Oosbourne side, he's got a big ceiling, especially if he comes out aggressive in that first round. I just don't think he could put 15 full minutes together with it.
100% agree. This fight is similar to the Jean Paul fight, Phil Rowe, in the sense of I think ownership's really not going to be there, and it's expected to finish. It opened -115 at now -135. Idiris +175 inside the distance. Ode +265. Like on most cards, like this is a slam dunk mid-tier fight. This card's just so good, and the mid-tier is so strong with Leal, Chidi, Pereira, Zachary's, where it has to be somewhat low owned. Idiris is my preferred side because I think he's going to wrestle. Ode is dangerous on the feet. And Idiris, I think, like, Ode slows down. Idiris could get 6 takedowns in a decision win and maybe score 100 points. Ode, I think I want to cap him at his round 1 prop, which is +500, 16.7%. I'm right around there, I think is fine. He's dangerous early. He has first round knockout upside. But if he doesn't win in round 1, he probably slows. He doesn't have as much volume. And then I'm worried in rounds 2 and round 3 that he gets put on his back and doesn't really score. So Idiris, my preferred play because he has more pass to win. I think he can wrestle. +175 inside the distance is good. And Idiris +600 by sub, open +750, +350 by KO. He likes his spinning stuff. Not a good debut. Joseph Morales, big underdog, beat him. And it wasn't even a debut. It was like the Ultimate Fighter. But UFC still thinks of him pretty highly. They're giving him another chance. Mid-tier fight expected to finish pretty low owned. Good inside the distance props on both sides. I do have some interest in this fight. All right, next fight. And then we are going to do the winners. So do not do anything yet. Most likely fight to finish on the card. -600 to finish. Carlos Leal -130. Chidi +110. Again, -600 to finish. Leal -110 inside the distance. Chidi +150. Leal in round 1 +250. Chidi +350. I mean, what a fight. Are you going to go all in, I guess is my question. And then, yeah, break it down. How do you see it?
No, I'm not going to go all in because I think -600 is too high. I don't think it deserves a -600 personally. But it's the mid-range fight of the week. And if it does, then you're going to need it. So I am going to be high on it. I'm actually going to be higher on it because of that -600 than I would have been had I not seen that. I really would prefer to not fade the Njokuani side, but I'd want to be underweight to the Njokuani side. I think he is definitely live for a knockout. But if he doesn't get a knockout, he's not going to score well. He's not a grappler. He's only going to look to strike. And he's not a high-paced striker where he's going to put up 110 points in a decision. So I prefer the Leal side. If Leal can stay conscious, I like him to be the high-volume striker. I like him to be the better wrestler. And he should make this fight dirty. He should just get in, throw a bunch of volume. Don't give Chidi the range that he needs and try to avoid the big shots when they come his way. And if that's the case, I like Leal. I think the line should be wider on the Leal side. It was wider when I looked at this fight. It was like, I want to say he was like -175 on Sunday. And I thought that, I actually thought it was the value side of the two. So I'm probably going to end up betting Leal as well. But yeah, I'll be overweight Leal. Around field on Njokuani probably as like a hedge to my overweight on the Leal side. But I'd really prefer to be underweight on Njokuani.
Yeah, you mentioned Leal open -260, now all the way to -130.
Wow.
When I see a significant line movement like that, it does it makes me, I don't have a preferred side. Like I truly don't. Like Leal, I think he's my pick because I look at these guys very similar and I trust Leal's chin more than Chidi's. Chidi's has been cracked plenty. With that being said, it's so easy to build a Leal lineup, drop Leal down to Chidi, and that's one way to get different and you sacrifice no upside whatsoever. So I'm really indifferent for that reason. I pick Leal, but not a strong lean, and you can get more different with Chidi without giving up anything. So that's how I see it. All right, fight 7 through 11. Pick one fighter, go. You cannot pick two. So Tim, this doesn't count. Any comment below Tim is right. I have Big Marley's, and I have mine, both in a private chat. And yeah, whoever is right gets two. We're giving away 2 winners. For shout out to Lazy Lopez, giving away $99 monthly core package, includes Saber Sim, includes Discord, and access to all of the sports above. We have Yeah, I'm gonna monitor the comments. We'll get into the next fight, and then I'll be writing it down if I see someone to win. Next fight, Michelle Pereira minus 155 taking on Zach Reese plus 135. Another mid-tier fight, heavily favored to finish at minus 325. Michelle Pereira plus 110 inside the distance. Zachary Reese plus 175. Pereira round 1 plus 225. Zachary Reese plus 350. Under 1.5 minus 112. I mean, another great fight. I will say I'm not going to be all in on the Leal or Chidi fight as well, mainly because if it's a second round knockout, 92 is good, but it might not be enough on this card. We keep talking about how loaded the mid tier is, so I don't really plan on going all in on any fight. If I did, it would be the main event. Take it away. What do you see in this one?
I think it's a good DFS fight. Pereira, though, I think Pereira's on the downfall. He's looked terrible in his last couple fights, and if he's not going to go out there and get some flashy knockout, I just don't trust this guy. And paying $8,500, really laying juice at all against anybody that's somewhat talented and dangerous. I'm really not. I'm not in this week or in on him anymore. On the Reese side, I don't know how sold I am on Reese, but he definitely flashes talent. He is dangerous at times. And I think he could wrestle or strike his way to a victory in this one. So my preferred play is definitely going to be underdog. I just don't know how high I want to be on this one. What do you think? Is this a 5-star for you? I was in between a 3 and a 5-star. I think I could go down to a 3-star with the thought of Pereira wins the first round, Reese wins the second or third, or finishes late and maybe doesn't get too high of a score that way. But since I am on the underdog, I think I'm going to be high on him for sure. I just won't have too much on the Pereira side.
I think this is a 5-star for me. The reason I say that is I think both guys actually could shoot a takedown in this fight. And I think if someone gets on top, they can do damage or get a submission. Both submission props, I think it's a sneaky submission fight. Pereira open plus 800 by sub, now plus 500. Reese open plus 800 by sub, now plus 650. So I think they either stand and bang, which is the more likely, or someone shoots a takedown and then Pereira gasses. Reese catches them. One of them grabs a neck. I just don't really think they have 15-minute cardio at the end of the day. So probably a 5-star fight for me. Again, I'm not going all in, but Reese is my preferred play because of the savings. But I think Reese is higher owned by a decent bit maybe, and Michelle Pereira gets a decent amount of leverage in this spot because he has 800 more. The odds are pretty tight. You see on Monday he was minus 160. Now he's minus 155. So it didn't change too much. Let's see. Open minus 150. Got as low as minus 160. So I take that back. The odds haven't moved too much. But the fight to finish, open minus 250. Now it's minus 325. So definitely a lot of line movement on the under. I like this fight a lot. Reese has a bunch of upside at 7,700. Do think that leaves him to be relatively popular. Probably one of the more popular 7K fighters on the card. And that gives Pereira leverage, who's plus 255 in round 1. Let me just double check that. Yeah, plus 225. Man, that's a really, really good round 1 prop. So, yeah, I see that you're saying fight 7 through 11. Literally no one got it right. So I think we're going to restart it because I gave enough time. The fights, I'm going to say we're going to do fights. We're going to do fights 1 through 6, Big Marley. Type in the private chat real quick. Pick one. I already got one for me. Do it quick before they beat us. All right. So you already got it. We got both of ours. I will say, so people know that we're not cheating. Big Marley's was Carlos Leal, and mine was Ode Oosbourne in the last one, 7-11. Literally not one person got it, but now fights 1 through 6. Yeah, people were saying Dan Ige, which it wasn't. But now Dan Ige is viable. So, yes, first one to say that we get it right gets it. And I will say, yeah, I'm not even going to say yet. We're going to talk about the next fight and then see if people did get the winners. So, fights 1 through 6. Pick one name only. If you get it right, it's completely random. There's no rhyme or reason to what we're saying. Just trying to give away 2 monthly memberships. Shout out to the man Lazy Lopez that's giving it away. All right, never mind. We got both winners right here. Shout out to Hez O MMA. Anti Delia was my pick. Shout out to Tim L. Holman for Jeff Neal, which was Big Marley's pick. You two are the winners. What you have to do, email info@chipination.com. Take a picture of your YouTube profile. So take a picture like of the top left saying the Tim L. Holman with the picture. Take a picture of Hezo MMA with this and reach out saying that you won the MMA membership. Again, take a picture so we know that it is you, and you will get access, $99 core package, access to the Discord, access to SaberSim and all of our content for 1 month, courtesy of our man, Lazy Lopez. Again, thank you very much, Lazy. Congrats to you two for getting in. If you didn't win and you want to try us out, though, again, you can get in as low as $9 for the day, or a better deal, 5 days for $19. Gets you Discord, gets you SaberSim, and access to all these sports above prizes. There's 100K plus prizes in a lot of sports going on right now. So definitely can make that money. $19 comes out to less than $3. Actually, no, that would be less than $4. Bad math over here a day. We would love to have you. Definitely think it is worth it to give us a try. All right, we'll keep it rolling. Number 5, Jacoby Smith taking on Josiah Harrell. We have Jacoby Smith minus 310, Josiah Harrell plus 260, minus 160 for this fight to finish. Smith minus 105 inside the distance, Harrell plus 450. What a story for Josiah Harrell. Was supposed to fight Jack Della on short notice a couple years back. And he was getting scanned, and they found out he needed brain surgery. Crazy stuff. He recovered, which is awesome to see. Gets another short notice fight this week. It was supposed to be Jacoby Smith against Sung Ho Ko. Out is Ko, in is Harrell, and this line's been all over the place. So Smith opened minus 500. 3 minutes later was minus 255, and then lines bounce back and forth from minus 350 to minus 235. And now Smith has taken some money the past couple days. This fight, minus 160 to finish. I'm excited for this one. You can see on the stone, Jacoby Smith, he was an All-American wrestler at Oklahoma State. His striking looks pretty solid. He looks dangerous, but I'm a little questioning the cardio. And Josiah Harrell looks pretty good too, 11-0. 2 guys with the O. Someone has to go. How do you see this fight going?
Yeah, I mean, I think Harrell looks fine. He looks like a solid fighter. I just don't know where he would have an edge in this fight because Jacoby Smith is just going to be a fighter I pick a lot. He looks like a good, powerful wrestler with dangerous hands as well. And he can throw combinations and put up some decent volume while he's on the feet. So I really like Smith. I'm going to pick him most of the time when he's matched up against somebody in the UFC. And that's why I have Harrell as a 1 star. It's nothing against him. It's just all on the Smith side. And I don't know how high I want to move this fight ranking because I don't know how much Smith I'm going to end up with. But it could go 3, 4, or 5, depending on how much I end up with. I do like Smith because he could get the first round knockout, or he could land a lot of takedowns. I'm kind of just hoping that he doesn't knock this guy out because he had brain surgery. And I don't know that he's going to land 3 rounds worth of a lot of takedowns. So I'm kind of hoping Smith wins and scores 90-something points and might not need him this week. So I got it as a 3-star for that reason, but Smith is my pick to win. It's him or pass for me. I'm not going to have 150 lineups. I'm likely to have 20 or less. So when I say pass, I'm not saying I would pass if I was a 150 lineup entry kind of guy.
I'm definitely going to play some Smith just because, I think his profile and when he wins fights, just seeing it, 6.2 170 strikes per minute, 7.42 takedowns, All-American wrestler. He feels like an all-gas, no-breaks kind of guy. Chain takedowns, minus 105 to finish. His round 1 prop, plus 250. I think he has as much upside as pretty much anyone on this card outside of Fluffy Hernandez. So I'm definitely going to be playing some Jacoby Smith. And I also am playing some Josiah Harrell. And the reason for that is I like him more than Miller. I like him more than Leavitt. I like him more than Gurule. I like him more than Sean Strickland. I don't like that low tier too much. This Harrell dude, I think, when you're backing fighters that are really cheap, I want them to be somewhat good or think they're somewhat good. I think this dude's actually pretty well-rounded. He can wrestle. His striking's fine. Cardio, I'm a little nervous about Smith the longer it goes because I do think he wrestles. So yeah, I think Harrell's a little interesting on this card. Plus 450 inside the distance, open plus 550. And I think a lot of that is late finish equity as well. So I'm going to be in on this fight, and I don't think ownership's going to be too crazy. Smith, I think, has a lot of upside, as you can see on the stone. And I think Harrell has some sneaky upside if he's able to survive early. And I think he can turn it on late, even though it is on short notice. So I'm excited for this one in real life too. Smith, I mean, anytime you got an All-American wrestler going in the UFC, was showed a little bit of hands. Pretty promising, but I'm excited for this one. We'll keep it rolling. 4 fights left. Man, 14 fights. That's a lot of fights. It is a lot of fun come Saturday, though. Ante Dalia minus 130, taking on Sergey Spivak, plus 110. We have minus 290 for this fight to finish. Dalia minus 125 inside the distance. Spivak plus 270. I'm looking at like striker in Spivak versus the wrestler in Dalia. No, let me take that back. Striker in Dalia versus the wrestler in Spivak. Do you see it the same, and how do you see the fight going?
Yeah, I do. You had me thinking, I was like, holy shit, I got to go back and rewatch.
No, I'm tweaking.
But yeah, I'm going to be high on this fight because minus 325 to end inside the distance. It's a striker versus grappler. I don't feel good about who's going to win, but either guy could win and look like they should have been a minus 500 favorite. And I like being heavy on those types of fights. I'm picking Ante to get the knockout in the first round, so he's going to be my preferred play. But I'm not confident about it, and Spivak could wipe the floor with him. And at 7,600, Spivak could be a guy who scores 120 points, and it becomes a no Spivak, no cash type of night. So I'm fine if I'm struggling with my lineup. Like I don't like those guys you mentioned either, Strickland and below. So if I'm struggling for an underdog, I'm fine just going down from Ante down to Spivak and then seeing what I could do with the rest of my lineup. So I'll just be heavy on this fight in general, but my pick first round, Ante knockout.
Yeah, I don't have a strong lean on it, but because I need dogs, because I'm playing a bunch of fluffy, I'm just going to lean the 1K savings. In a close fight where I can get the wrestler and a lot of savings, very similar upside on both. You could argue Spivak has more upside, actually. I'm leaning Spivak, and that's not necessarily because I think he wins the fight. I truly don't know who wins the fight. But if Spivak wins at 7,600, I feel really good that he's pretty close to being on the optimal, where I guess the same can't, like Dalia probably, but not necessarily. This fight did open minus 250 to finish, got all the way to minus 325, and then some money back on the over, now minus 290. If Spivak wins, I think it's through the wrestling, and it's hard to see him scoring poorly. So he's my preferred side with the savings. But yeah, good fight to target on both sides. The only heavyweight fight on the card, heavily favored to finish. 3 fights left. Mel Costa taking on Dan Ige. Costa minus 212. Ige plus 182. Plus 195 for this fight to finish. The most likely on the card. Now it's even more likely to go the distance by a hair over the Joselyne Edwards fight. The underdog in Ige more likely to finish at plus 350. Costa plus 425. I'm definitely not playing Mel Costa at 8,900. No chance. I don't like much Dan Ige either. I think a lot of underdogs are better, have more upside. But with that being said, Dan Ige always has power. It's just, I think he probably loses a decision because he gets outpointed. How do you see it?
Yeah, I just think Ige, he's actually a pretty good wrestler, pretty good striker. He just doesn't wrestle enough, and he doesn't strike at a high enough pace. So if
he doesn't get finished.
That's true. But if he's not getting a knockout, it's just hard for him to score well on DraftKings with his lack of work rate. And Costa on the other end is a fairly high-paced fighter, and I think that's what's going to give him the win in this one. He's going to have the higher work rate, and it's going to be enough to win 2 or 3 rounds wherever the fight takes place. So he's my pick, but I agree. Ige is my preferred DFS play because if he did show up, man, if we saw an Ige who's looking to wrestle, I feel like he could wrestle Costa. It's just he's not going to look to wrestle more than 1 or 2, 3 takedowns, and we're going to need more than that. And if he doesn't get the knockout, he's not going to be throwing enough volume. So it's hard to trust him, but 7,300, it's a good price tag. I'm fine getting some Ige. I actually changed it to a 2-star Costa, 4-star Ige on this one, but pick is Costa to win.
Yeah, I'd be 1-star Costa, 5-star Ige, but I'd be 1-star Costa, 3-star Ige, 3 stars fade the fight. Like I do not like this fight, but definitely if I'm playing it, I'm playing the Dan Ige side. With that being said, Morgan Charrier never gets knocked out either, and Costa sits him down in round 1 and absolutely buries my lineup. So he's skilled, but man, Dan Ige's got a chin. He's well-rounded. I think more than likely it goes to decision. Close fight. Costa probably wins. A decision doesn't get there, but Dan Ige my preferred play for sure if choosing. We will go from, a solid real-life fight was Ige, but we go to an absolute banger in the co-main event. 2 strikers going to throw down, minus 210, Jeff Neal, plus 180. Uros Medic, minus 650 for this fight to finish. Oh, man, minus 650. Minus 160, Jeff Neal, plus 210, Uros Medic. Neal round 1, plus 165. Medic, plus 375. What a banger. I'm pumped for this one. How do you see it?
Yeah, going to be striker's delight. Both guys are going to be striking until one of them falls, most likely. I do think minus 650 is a little high, though, and that's why I put it as a 4-star. I think that it could go to a decision. But even after the first round, if a Neal wins, I think Neal could not make the optimal lineup with a second or a third round knockout. And I think they're both in play, but Medic, super dangerous, 7,500. He could be one of those guys that you just need. He could knock out Neal in the first round, and you're going to need that. But I just think Neal is so much better than this guy everywhere. And if he doesn't get knocked out, I think he's going to be the one giving the knockout or just clearly winning all 3 rounds. If it's a decision, I think Neal wins 30-27. It doesn't look like that on the stone, but I personally think Neal is a level or 2 above Medic in the striking, especially over 15 minutes. I think he's fought much better competition, beat much better competition, and he's the value side, in my opinion. If I had to bet this side, give me him at minus 200.
I'm going to say my preferred side's Medic, simply like the D'Elia Spivak fight. I know I'm playing a bunch of fluffy. I know I keep tipping my hand in the main event, but I need dogs. And I think if Medic wins, he has a 100-plus point upside. If Spivak wins, he has a 100-plus point upside. Chidi wins. Sorry, that's an alarm to get those NBA teams in. Night Slate, anyone out there, shippingnation.com can help you out. Showdown content, little plug for our man Little Neck, 30 minutes if you get in. Does an awesome job. Nobody better in the business in the showdown content streets than our man Little Neck, so you can check that out. But I'm getting them in as we're speaking. We got time. But I just think, Medic, Spivak, Zachary Reese, Chidi, these dogs, if they win, I think they have as much upside as the other side at the end of the day. Phil Rowe even. So I need savings because I'm playing a bunch of fluffy Hernandez. I think these 2 are going to bang. I think both guys, if whoever lands the big power shot first, I trust Jeff Neal's chin more, but he's just got his chin absolutely cracked as well. Medic hits hard. I'm excited for this one. Probably Neal, gun to my head. Sure, I'm going with that, but yeah, we play a salary-based game. I'm going to need some savings. I'm definitely going to play some Jeff Neal too, don't get me wrong, but Uros Medic my preferred side for the 1,200 savings because we need some dogs on this card. All right, main event time. I know I keep saying my pick, but we got Fluffy Hernandez minus 255. Take it on Sean Strickland plus 215. This fight's plus 135 to finish. We have Fluffy plus 185 inside the distance. Strickland plus 550. Fluffy Hernandez is the Marab of DFS. He has scored no less than 94 points in any of his wins. He has 192.5 in there, 141.2 in there. The 195 was against Michelle Pereira, and I think absolutely demolished his career at the end of the day. He hasn't really looked the same. Strick Daddy, always love Strick Daddy in DFS. We're not talking no politics, what he's saying, this or that. We're breaking down the fight game. Strickland has made me a lot of money. This dude is just solid pretty much everywhere. Great cardio. The jab's good. The volume's good. He'll fight for your dollar. With all that being said, Fluffy puts on a different pace. He might be susceptible to the body, but I think he gets a takedown, then I think he gets another, and then another. And I think at the end of the day, Strickland known for standing in between rounds, looking good, looking down his opponents. I think he's going to be huffing and puffing and in for a long, long 25 minutes if he can make it that far. Fluffy very well might be 65% owned. I could argue that might not even be high owned enough in this one. I'm going to have a bunch. My case for Strickland is just the leverage off of a very chalky fighter if he wins, it's probably by knockout. I don't know. I'm curious to hear your take. Like, can he just piece him up for 25 minutes? Is that possible? I don't like Strickland much. I say you have a 1-star. But at the end of the day, he's plus 215 to win. People are going to be a lot higher on Fluffy. Again, he could be 65%. But yeah, I might have 90%. Like, I'm going to play a bunch of Fluffy, which is why I am picking some of these dogs below. How do you see it?
I think I'm just going to pretty much be all in on the Fluffy side. The fight I want to see is Fluffy versus Chimaev, and I'm just going to be picking Fluffy until that happens.
Really? Oh, I thought you were going to pick him over Chimaev.
Oh, man, I don't know. I'm picking that, but I got to see it. Those are the two
Yeah.
I think are going to beat everybody. Strickland, and also not like that one-punch knockout type of guy where he could just beat Hernandez to the knockout rather than getting taken down. I just think that the takedowns are going to be there. And in fights that hit the third round, Hernandez averages 7.5 takedowns in. So
Crazy.
I think we're going to get 6+ takedowns from Hernandez, possibly 12 takedowns on the Hernandez side. Ton of points. I'm just gonna be all in on Hernandez. Every single lineup I think is gonna have him. The only way I wouldn't have him is if I'm building a lineup. Like let's say the highest I got was 9K, and I just love the rest of my lineup. That's probably the only way I would not have Hernandez in my lineup. I'm not gonna have any Strickland. If Strickland wins, it's gonna be a bad night for me.
Yeah, that's interesting. You're kind of making me think like maybe I would be fine if I just had 9K as my highest own and left $0 and you just hope Fluffy scores like 104 and maybe that's not enough. But man, it feels like if this fight goes 25 minutes, like it feels like a 140 piece in my opinion. Because otherwise, like if it stays on the feet, Strickland's obviously like the better striker. Can jab him up, but Fluffy's so relentless on the mat. You can see 6.46 takedowns per 15 minutes. I think he absolutely, I agree, Paul. Unfortunately, I ain't picking against Chimaev. I've never picked against him. I definitely ain't picking against him anytime soon, in my opinion.
What's Chimaev look like in a 5th round against Fluffy, though?
I don't think it's getting no 5th round. This dude's cut from a different cloth.
Yeah,
obviously, like, unless if it's the same thing he did against Rikas, like that, I think he could do that for 55 minutes. Like all he did was he's just too big on top, too strong. His positional control was too good. I'm not necessarily comparing Fluffy's ground game to.
I'll have to see the line, but I don't think he'll be that big of a favorite against Fluffy.
Let's see if there's any. I doubt there's any future line. Sometimes they do that. Let's see. More events. No, I'm not seeing anything. What do you think it'd be?
Minus 200 range, minus 185.
Saying it would be minus 380. We will see if we get it. I want to see it. I want to see. I think
I might freaking bet the Fluffy side if it's that high, but I don't know. I'll have to look in.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I feel like I remember Chimaev really faded in that 5th round against DDP.
DDP didn't have nothing for him. He just got on top. Chimaev was just on top.
How are you going to fade in a fight where you had no opponent?
I don't even know if he faded, but I was in Greece, to be fair. So I was watching it very early in the morning over there. I'm playing a bunch of Fluffy Hernandez, though. Definitely not playing much Sean Strickland. But I'm not going to X him out because it is a lot of leverage. And at the end of the day, he's plus 215. What's plus 215 in terms of odds to win? 31%. I do think at the end of the day, Strickland probably comes in under 31%. How many of Sean Strickland's wins do you think will be optimal? Like if I'm telling you he wins, 90% of his wins, is he on the optimal 50%? Yeah. What's your guess?
Yeah, no, maybe not that high, because I guess it could be like Hernandez dominates the first 2 rounds and then Strickland comes back. So I would say like 75% of his wins.
And he's saying that means like a 20% Strickland would probably be somewhere to be around. And yeah, I think at the end of the day, Strickland's probably in the mid-20s ownership, and Fluffy Hernandez is probably high 60s. I don't know, maybe low 70s. 14 fight card, it feels hard to do that, but I mean, man, everyone's gonna say what we're saying about his wrestling. Yeah, I think he is under 31% owned personally. I do. What about Strickland's takedown defense? I mean, Strickland used to, before his motorcycle accident, like Strickland could wrestle. He just really hasn't. Let me see what his actual takedown defense is.
DDP took him down like 5-6 times.
Yeah, that's the fight that I was thinking of. I don't know the sample size is. Hold on. Let me get you exact number. 76%. But again, this dude's been fighting since 2014 in the UFC. Had a bad motorcycle accident that kept him out for a period of time. Dricus in the last fight went 1 for 2 on takedowns, just outstruck him. But yeah, in their first fight, 6 for 11 on takedowns was Dricus. He fought Costa. Costa didn't shoot a takedown. Boost Magomedov went 1 for 2 and then just completely gassed. Obviously, Adesanya didn't. Imavov, 0 for 1. His distance management's good. There's no doubt about that. But Brendan Allen in 2020, a while ago, Brendan didn't even shoot for a takedown. Like, he really hasn't been tested too much in the takedown department. 2017, Oosbourne went 2 for 8, but that was pre-motorcycle accident where you can tell he definitely lost a step a little bit. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I can't see him in the future. I just think at the end of the day, I think a lot of people will be light on fluffy ownership, and I don't think many people are going to want to click that Sean Strickland name when it's all said and done due to the upside of Fluffy Hernandez, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know about that either. Any final thoughts for you before we get on out of here? Like, what a card. Hour 10 talking 14 fights. Fingers crossed we keep all 14, because if so, what a fight night we're in for.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I mean, you might be pumped having like a 600-point score at the end of this one, but that's not going to cut it, I bet, on this card. So we're looking for as high as we can get. Might need to be a little closer to 700 on this one, especially with a fluffy on the card. But looking forward to it. Hopefully we have some bangers. Good luck to you, Title. Good luck to everybody listening. Let's ship it.
Appreciate everyone hanging out. And again, shout out to Tim and shout out to Hezo MMA and shout out, more importantly, to Lacey Lopez in the Discord. He gave away 2 $99 core packages. Hezo won 1, Tim won 1. Take a screenshot of your YouTube name and your picture. Email info@shipination.com saying that you won the giveaway, and we will get you squared away after that. See ya in the Discord. Everyone else can get in as low as $9 or 5 days for $19. Join the nation. All you got to do, shipination.com right here. I'll show you. This is the homepage. Click join the nation, and then you are able to see the different packages right here. If you want to get in for the month, you can do that as well. Single sport also have options, as you can see. We'd love to have you. Again, MMA, here you can see for the month, $29 if you just want MMA content, $49 with the optimizer. Good luck to everybody this week. Yeah, here you go. Right. The cheapest option for me to buy to get access to MMA ownership. So the daily pass will get you ownership or get you all the content for that day. Weekly, you can see for all of our just content for the projections, the ownership and anything is $29. I would probably just do the Saber or the MMA monthly. So you get the projections and ownership, the slate plan, tier rankings, all of that for $29. If you know you want it always, $17, then you're able to get all of our content projections. That's probably the cheapest if you know you want to get it for each week. Otherwise, you can get as low as $9 or $19 for all of that up here. But yeah, if you just want MMA, I think probably this is the best deal under single sports right here. That'll do it for us. Appreciate you, YSN. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Like button and subscribe button on the way out. Helps us out a ton. Good luck in your contest this week. We will be back next week for Big Marley on Title Town. Have a good night. Stay safe. Peace.